Welcome back to the Deceiver's Tools. This is session 9 titled Crossroads, and last session the group made their way out of Osaria. Now, last session we had complications with the audio. It was not recording me to the stream, but everyone else was able to hear me, so we didn't immediately catch it. It got about halfway through the session, so I'm just going to do a very quick synopsis of what happened with that group while they were escaping the city. Oris, seeing the situation unfolding at Carfus's manor, decided to retreat very quickly. Phi, seeing that if she were to retreat with them and be caught, it would cause problems between her nation and also the Osirian nation, possibly the conglomerate as a whole, decided to back away from everyone and kind of just let everyone go and do what they were going to do. Davos, being rambunctious when he's controlled by the dungeon master, rushed into the matter with his affiliates and did his thing. And Pleasant and Kelder rushed after Oris to stay with him, figuring that retreating from the scene is probably a good idea. They didn't meet any opposition, but they did run into an individual who was very strange to them, who eventually revealed that she was a strange entity from outside of this world, a fox-like creature who had a lot of information that they thought wasn't really something that was common knowledge. After a bit of discussion, they understand that leaving the city is the best idea, because according to this secret keeper, the city is going to go up in flames within a couple of days. If you're keeping up with both shows, it'll be interesting to note that that plan might have changed, but we'll cover that at a later time. Anyways, they escaped the town. They went into the marketplaces, found some things that were of interest to them for the travel, specifically horses. Phi was recovered by them. They went to her embassy, finding her there, and she was ready to travel. When they acquired their horses, Lady Phi called for her horse to be brought to her for travel, and it came to everyone's attention that she has a very fine steed, one of the summer elf horses known as the Ranian, which is a kind of mystical, very powerful king-type horse. Anyway, they traveled, again, stopped, unhindered, and headed out of the city. I believe Oris traded a magical sword for some barding, for his warhorse that he also purchased to a coin, and they made it to a town just northeast of the city on the way to Munio, because that is where Oris, Pleasant, and Kelder elected that they would go, as their goal is to return Oris, really, to the nation of Parnak, so that he can basically enact his revenge. And also, it seems that other elements of information seem to kind of stir back that way. Specifically for Kelder, it sounds like there's some kind of conglomerate link from the city of Rostagar to the city of Osaria, which intrigues him. And for Pleasant, the long way around back home might be a better choice than trying to go through the province of Darg. And as you can see on the map there, you can see that they are notated by the token for Davos, and they are currently set on Mudis. Mudis is a pretty basic village, not much going to it. It's barely a village, it's more of a hamlet, and a lot of farmlands outside of it. Mudis is about a half a day's ride away from the city, and it's where you've stopped and have found yourself reconvening with Davos. The time of day would be nightfall, evening time, so finding a place to bed might be a good idea. All of that stated, I will be, from this point forward, moving on, playing Davos full stop until possibly something changes. We'll see, but I will be a bit less guarded with the character, and I'll be more entering the character fully instead of leaving things open to choices that are not being made by the player. That said, You see Davos. Davos is on a horse that's in full plate barding. It looks like it's very regal looking. Oris, you recognize the horse as being the horse of Lord Calphus. And a fine steed that you would know the name of as Sunrider. Yeah, and I think the Ranahan's name is Perot. And that means that Kelder and Oris have yet to name their horses, but they have them. All right, I'm going to go ahead and just open it up to you guys. Go ahead. Let me know what you're doing.
Kelder wants to know if Davos grabbed the old wizard's spellbook or anything else of his.
Davos kind of looks at you, slightly wounded, kind of looking at you annoyed. It says, "No, I didn't think to grab the spellbook."
Oof.
That's unfortunate.
A lot of things were unfortunate today.
I'm out of a paycheck now.
He looks at Oris just upset, and kind of like rides on a little bit. You see him kind of cantering his horse over to the building you're all kind of close to. Just outside of that building, you see that there's a sign kind of hanging near the door. The sign has a strange serpentine creature, although it's like a many-limbed creature, kind of painted on the sign, blue in color, and it seems to have like maybe 20 or so limbs in all. But the top four, the ones closest to its head, are kind of flexing like a muscle man. And it has like kind of a weird reptilian grin on its face. And just above it, in common letters, it says the Beefy Behir.
The beefy
Wow.
what?
Behir. Behir.
What is that?
Probably don't know in character. Kelder might. If he doesn't know in real life as Chad, he can roll an Arcana check to try and think of what a Behir is. What'd you get?
22.
That'll work. Behirs are kind of a serpentine creature, similar in generation to dragons. They spit lightning, though. They have they're very multi-limbed. Nothing really striking about them. They're just kind of a monstrous beast.
They are many-limbed lightning lizards.
Say that 3 times fast.
No, you.
No, you.
She says back in your own voice.
Okay, that's pretty funny.
But yeah, they are. They eat dragons, though. They do have very similar kind of looks to dragons, but they are dragon eaters.
Do we need to buy anything? I mean, I know we were just in the market and you guys got some armor and stuff, but should we get some supplies or like food? Because it's getting dark. We should find a...
Yeah, I don't think we actually stocked up on rations, did we? I think that was the one thing we all kind of ignored.
I want to ask Davos some more about what he found, like whether anybody survived, whether he received any orders, or if he's just striking out.
He's putting his horse to a boy, a young stable boy, just outside of this establishment, the Beefy Vet here. As you walk over to him and start asking him questions and kind of like, do so apparently non-empathically, he grabs at you. You can make an acrobatics check if you want to resist it, but it doesn't look like it's overtly hostile. More of a like angry kind of thing. Your call. If you want to try and dodge him.
You said acrobatics?
Yep. He grabs a hold of like your shoulders and like your shirt, and then slams you against the wall. And you all watch him do this, and he looks you in the eyes and he says, "They're all fucking dead. Leave it." And he turns and walks towards the entrance of the tavern after like kind of just letting you kind of slump against the wall.
Kelder smooths his clothes and looks at the stable boy, who's probably like...
He's like this. He's like, And he's kind of holding his hand, and then he kind of like lowering it, like he was expecting a tip.
Geldor gives him like a very polite smile and like waves, and then hands him. I don't know. Let me see. Let me check out my coins real quick.
Let me see how bougie I want to be.
Yeah, I give him 1 silver.
He seems very happy with that. Very happy indeed, and kind of wanders away. Do you? Does he take your horse as well?
Well, actually, before he wanders away, I want to ask him if he has room for 1 more horse.
We have plenty of room for horses, Master Elf.
We should probably stable all of the horses for now.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and do that.
So, Lady Fi, just because, again, you weren't here last session, I didn't get a chance to tell you a bit more about the Ranahan, but they're pretty intelligent, so if you just tell it to stay somewhere, it doesn't need to be, like, locked up or anything, and you would know that the heart of the Summer Elf horse is kind of free. It doesn't want to be bound or tied up to things.
He can be left to his own devices.
Just hanging out.
My horse's name is Zephyr.
All right.
Motherfucker, that was my horse's name.
Oh wait, your horse's name is Zephyr? That's
Name
awkward.
it Zephyr too.
It shall be.
This is
Never.
awkward.
Zephyr _2.
So they're all trying to name their horses after, like, really fast things, and Stephanie was like, my horse is named after a French
This
clown.
Snail the Mail, that's my horse.
All right, Hermes it is.
All right.
I want to flutter off the horse. Can I do a backflip off of the horse?
Yeah, no problem. You just flip off the horse, and again.
Oh, I don't have to do a check.
No, yeah. Perro is pretty high shouldered, so yeah, it definitely would require some feat of acrobatics to do it, but because you're very dexterous, it's no problem for you. The stable boy kind of looks at you as you do it, and is like, oh. Wow. And
This dude's seen some shit today.
it
A
doesn't.
talking ninja bird.
Well, it doesn't look like he's terribly, like, when they rode up, it didn't look like he was terribly surprised by anybody's looks. Like, there being
Yeah.
Proven.
They're like a little midtown between.
Well, yeah, he seems to be a bit more cosmopolitan than a backwater kid, It seems like he was fine with that. He's just really interested in the backflip. But yeah.
Always feeling challenged is gonna also give it a go.
All right. Yeah, you're dexterous enough.
High as fuck.
You're dexterous enough. You kind of, like, flip off of the horse trying to show off.
Is it bad I wanted to fail more than anything?
Yeah. Again, like, are you trying to go, like, over the top, like, stand on the horse, then do a flip or something, or?
He's just trying to one up me.
Then yeah, make an
Essentially.
acrobatics check.
I don't think you're gonna one up the bird ninja, but okay.
That can literally like fly.
So you kind of
Not
try
really,
and get
but-
up onto the horse and kind of stand onto it. The horse, not being terribly familiar with you, kind of bucks and kind of like moves away from you. And you kind of like flip up, but you don't really go full over. It's more of like just, you kind of like flip and kind of stop, like Looney Tunes style, like, with your back towards the ground, and kind of fall like a damp mattress onto the ground. Kind of, and the dust kind of like splays out from your thudding. And everyone around, which is not too many people. You do see a woman kind of entering the house next door. She looks like she's covered with kind of flour and dirt. And she's kind of like stopping at the door and kind of looking over at you. Davos then stops and kind of looks over at her. And she kind of nods at him. And he kind of goes and then walks into the tavern. There's a couple of other passers-by. Just across the street from you guys is a temple that looks like it's made out of mainly wood. And you can see the Atavian cross set onto it. And then that's this one over here, actually. And then this building just across the way there, it looks like it's a guard's barracks. And there are a couple of guards standing outside who are kind of going, laughing at Oris on his dumpy fault.
And then I want to mimic their laughing.
Oh, perfect.
August is just gonna lay there and then in as deep as he can make his voice just go, anyone says anything about this,
I'm like, I just
I'll either gut you or shave you. I'm not sure which at the moment. I just look at the guards if he says it.
They're about 40 or so feet away, so they don't hear you speaking, and they're kind of just idly kind of looking around.
Laughing.
But yeah, after your horses are taken into the stables and moved in, do you guys enter into the tavern or doing anything else? What are you guys doing?
personally, I need a drink, so I'm gonna head in.
Yeah, I want to go to the tavern.
Okay.
Is there any conglomerate presence in this little town?
So far, you haven't seen any.
Okay, I'm gonna keep my eye out, but I'm also gonna move into the tavern and get a drink with everyone else.
Okay. When you enter in, it's a bit more rambunctious than you were anticipating. You didn't really hear much sound coming from it while you were standing outside, but when you enter in, it's kind of like a lot of chatter. There's some idle music kind of playing, but you're not sure where it's coming from. You can see that the bar has a single individual behind it. He's wearing a very wide-brimmed hat. Looks like there's a symbol set on it, which appears to be the icon of the Association of Talno Marine. But it looks like it's kind of jagged and broken up, quite old. He's kind of a, just grizzled-looking individual, frontier kind of fellow with like a huge bushly beard, but he does have kind of like a wiry frame to him. He's wearing a long coat. There appear to be daggers on his person, and he seems to be the one serving the drinks. Then there are some other individuals throughout the bar. Looks like just farmer folk. And there's a halfling nearby. On your way in, though, Kate, you notice some markings on the the door frame, the pillars outside, and a couple of the buildings nearby, and you immediately recognize them as thieves' sign. It appears that there's a guild or presence of a nearby guild, possibly one from the city, a thieves' guild that appears to be here. And as you kind of look at them and focus in on it, you recognize that it's marking this establishment as safe, the building across the street as safe, the guard shack as owned, and the temple as safe. And what that means is that nobody steals from the safe ones, and the guards are bought by the guild. But apparently there appears to be thieves' presence. And then the other thing you note about the Beefy Bahir's location, it also says contact. So there appears to be a Thieves Guild contact inside of this establishment.
Hmm.
All right. But yeah, hustle and bustle. Barkeep kind of looks at you as you approach, Lady Fi, and kind of says, "What do you need?"
I'd say
He kind of gestures to the back wall. You see that there are a couple of bottles of wine, nothing too fancy. A couple of other bottles which appear to be spirits. Then there's like half of the shelves are just covered with very similar looking bottles that all have the same marking on them, which appears to be a flask that's opened up with like teeth inside of it. And there are also a couple of kegs on the lower portion that have spigots in them that have that same marking on it. And he says, "You want something from outside the city or outside of the town, possibly from Munio or Osiria, or do you want the local stuff?"
try something local.
All right, Glassjaw makes a great stout, but I assume your tastes are a little bit more refined. Kind of walks over to a bottle, pours a little bit of it, and then you see him pour another bottle, which is unmarked, and like just old faded glass into it as well. Kind of takes the glass and kind of settles it like this, and then sets it out in front of you. Spirits and wine. Looks over to anyone else who's close by, and he says, "That'll be 1 gold, please."
Always ask for
Hey, man.
is strong.
And the bottle's left with you, by the way, Stephanie. Yeah. And then Ora says something strong. Something strong and cheap, or something strong and strong?
Whichever will get me fucked quicker.
It'll be 2 gold.
2 gold indeed.
I like this guy. I like his sword.
He kind of looks at you as you set the gold down, and then he walks over to
Hi,
the
Laura.
back.
Oh, easy.
They said hi. They said hi.
Hi.
I'm wearing her shirt she got me.
Stephanie's wearing the shirt that you got her.
Oh, wait, let me see.
Oh, okay. Hold on. She's coming back.
Cool story.
That look like shit.
Anyway.
hey, bar guy. Nice sword you got there.
He kind of looks to you. Yeah, thanks. What will you have? Are you speaking in Elvish?
Does he speak Elvish?
Well, I'm asking you, are you speaking in Elvish or broken, kind of like made up? Because basically you have two ways of talking. You're
Broken.
Okay, so you kind of just sound like different voices using like repeats of words that you had. He kind of looks at you and kind of
Hell yeah.
He kind of nods, seemingly not fazed by the fact that you are a bird person and you're also speaking in
He
a
doesn't
weird,
judge.
broken tone. He says, "What can I get you?"
Got any grapes?
He smirks. I got things made. I got things made from grapes.
Close enough.
He
Give me that grape juice.
he pours you a glass of wine. He does not leave the bottle with you and sets the glass out. He says that'll be 1 silver.
Leave the bottle.
That'll be 1 gold.
Okay.
Sets that out, and as you guys are kind of paying attention to the barkeep, Kelder, you're kind of closer to the back. You do notice that Davos steps outside shortly after entering in, kind of looking around, and then goes right back outside. Looks like he's trying to basically lose you guys. You're not sure why.
I really want Elvish wine, but I also don't like sneaky people. So I excuse myself and try to follow him.
Okay. As you kind of step outside and look, you do see that he's moved across the way to the woman's house, the one that gave him the nod, and he's moving. He's moving into her house. She seems to be kind of holding the door open for him and looking around. She doesn't seem to notice you.
Okay, so I imagine this is probably like what? Does this house have like glass windows or just open windows?
This house has no windows, actually.
Shit. So if I wanted to eavesdrop, I'd have to get inside the building.
Yeah, it's got the roofs on these buildings. All of them are thatched, but it looks like it's kind of a heavier thatch, like a more permanent thatching. The only exception to this would be the temple. Yeah, the temple, and also this strange stone building over this way, which has a sign outside of it that is a flask with its mouth open, similar in kind to the one. Yeah, basically it's Pac-Man, but he's shaped like a flask. Anyway, yeah, you see him go into that house. If you do a full circuit around the house, you will note that on like the eastern or the western side of the house, there are like jars and bags that are kind of just laying out on the side of the building, and it looks like there's a very, very noticeable trail of kind of white powder that seems to go from that location to a building just across the way. Let me double make sure that's the one. I think it might be the one behind it, but yeah, one of the buildings over there.
Cocaine. I knew it.
A quick inspection,
please.
you would note that it's flour.
Cocaine. I knew it.
Yeah, it would be that building there.
I'm just gonna go knock on the door.
Okay. Upon knocking on the door, you
Yeah, not gonna be sneaky or suspicious at all.
hear a reply. Sorry, done baking for the day. Not accepting any guests.
I apologize. I'm not here for your goods. I've come to check on Davos.
You hear a voice. Fuck off, Kelder.
That was why Davos was there for her goods.
And here I was gonna offer to buy you a drink, you dick.
You're calling attention to this place. Please go away.
Very well. I hope you feel better, my friend.
Yeah.
I'll wander across the way and go get myself some Elvish wine.
Okay. Davos being disappeared. You guys go back in. While you're gone, though, Oris, did you get your beverage? It looks like it's a red bottle, and the contents inside are yellow. so it kind of has this weird orangey kind of tinge to it in the glass. You pour yourself like a full glass, and he kind of goes, "Whoa there, slow down. You may want to just take a little bit at first."
Always just picks up, pours more in the glass, like completely fills the glass, and then just locks eyes with the barkeep and very slowly.
The second it touches your lips, go ahead and make a Constitution saving throw. You go, trying to look cool. As it burns every part of your mouth, and you can just feel it as you're holding the glass and like spittling out. You can just feel it burning down your throat, even though you didn't even get a full sip in. You're just like, ah, ah. It tastes like hell. It tastes like you just put hell in your mouth.
Yes.
And the burning sensation again spreads, like not just down the throat, but like you can already feel it, like like entering every like extremity. It's really good. The
always
go ahead.
Always wants to kind of look at Pheasant, realize probably at this point click that she's been like able to copy languages. Just look at Pheasant and go.
He's calling you Pheasant instead of Pleasant.
Whatever.
And basically just start swearing at the poor person. The poor bird person, that she has all the swear words in common.
You have all of the swear words in common.
Can I roll for how drunk I am now?
Oh, you're just drinking wine, right?
Yeah.
No, you're fine.
Who doesn't get wine drunk?
Well, I mean, are you gunning to get like drunk? Or are you like?
I just have the whole bottle. He left the bottle with me.
Well,
so
you got a goblet as well. It's not like he said. Did you grab?
Yeah, but like while this has been happening, I've been
right.
drinking. I'm thirsty. I'm a thirsty bird.
All right. Yeah. I mean, I'll presume you're buzzed. Like, I mean, pretty well on your way.
I want to repeat all those cuss words back to him
in his own voice.
Voice
has never been happier than in this moment.
This gets a smile from Demos, who has explained that his name is Demos, by the way. At some point,
what a name!
In that, but you would also notice something else pleasant. He is eyeing you guys like you are goods, and your presumption is that you're in a thieves' hovel. Unless you identify yourself as a member of the Thieves Guild or part of a Thieves Guild, they're probably going to be filching from you guys all night long.
It said it's a safe place.
For thieves.
Oh, well then I want to thieve.
No. Wait.
I thought it meant safe as in like you shouldn't thieve from them.
You want to steal from thieves? Is that what you're saying to me right now?
If they said it's safe to steal from the bar, I want to steal from someone.
No. You're not understanding what I'm saying. So, okay.
Remember, she's wine drunk, though.
Real quick.
She's wine drunk.
Fair.
That's true.
The establishment is a safe haven for thieves.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's what I thought.
To everyone but yourself, and possibly the group you're traveling with, you are not a thief. You're in a den of thieves, and everyone else is as well, and you aren't... There's nothing protecting you from me, the DM, and all of the NPCs I have stealing from you.
Yeah.
So what are you going to do about that?
So nothing's stopping from me stealing, too.
Fair enough. So is your goal to counter steal? Like anybody who steals from your group, basically watch out for that and then steal it back so that they don't lose it? Or are you just wanting to steal from people who are in the tavern and possibly upset thieves who, you know, in a thief safe house, you're not supposed to steal from other thieves?
No, you don't have to.
Can I attempt to steal from the bar keep? And if I'm successful, just be like, and give it back to him, be like, hey.
Yeah, you can try.
Just to like flex on him.
You will have disadvantage for the check, but yeah, I'll let you go ahead and give it a go. Because you're trying to get across the bar, grab something from him.
Well, I'm not right now specifically.
You're
Maybe
waiting.
later.
You're waiting for your.
I'm waiting for an
moment.
opportunity. Yeah,
Okay. Even with that, if you're going to make that check, it will be at disadvantage.
that's fine.
All right. Cool.
Do I get a drunk advantage though?
I believe it would be more disadvantage, but you can't have twice. You can't have 2 times disadvantage for one.
I can't be twice.
Drunk advantage should be a thing. Just the confidence alone.
I know. I feel like there should.
Yeah, no.
No.
If you want to throw that dice, just make a sleight of hand check, and we'll see how that goes. And then, Kelder, you're getting a bottle of Elvish wine, right?
Oof.
Yeah.
Okay. He says the closest I have is some vineyards south near the Galatia region. I don't have anything from the Elvish city of Talanya or any other finery. I apologize. It doesn't really make its way up this way too often. Mostly stops in the city. Are you okay with the Galatia wine?
Yeah, Kelder shrugs and just says, yeah, just give me your finest wine.
Okay. It'll be 2 gold for the bottle. 2 silver if you just want a glass.
Yeah, let's start with a glass and go from there.
Okay. Yeah. Being a bit more of a man of fine tastes, you would recognize that it's all right. It's not bad.
It's just okay, you know.
Yeah, I'll just drink it by the glass for now.
Okay.
I'm kind of keeping an eye out on things. I mean, I'm not really sure what to expect from this town.
Okay. A bit of a commotion happens. You see Oris's axe, which was settled next to his bench, just kind of fall over and crash loudly, and everyone kind of starts paying attention to that. Kelder, since you're kind of keeping an eye on everything, you see Pleasant kind of slip off to the side and kind of just vanish into the shadows near like the back end of a bar. And then Oris kind of like clumsily, having drank a bit more of his drink.
Hell one.
Yeah, his hell wine.
He's wasted.
He kind of like goes down to grab his axe and just kind of falls on top of it. You notice that there's that same stable boy kind of walking over to like that area, kind of looking down at him, kind of curiously. What he's doing in the bar, you have no idea. And then you kind of hear Demos laugh as he slams his hand on the desk. Pleasant returning. You can give it back, he says, looking over at her as she reappears.
Kelder goes to help Oris up and also kind of waves the stable boy back. He says,
When
"You don't want to mess with this one, lad. He's a bit of a, I can't exactly say loose cannon, can I?"
Pleasant, you would note that he didn't catch you when you did it. He caught you when you were returning. And you're holding, he has 2 weapons on his belt. You grab the smaller of the 2, which appears to be like a really fine dagger. And he says, "You can give it back now." And he kind of looks over at you.
Okay. I just kind of like toss it back at him.
He catches it.
And laugh.
Puts it back to his belt. And he smirks.
The specific laugh that the guards were laughing at Oris when he fell off the horse.
Demos kind of looks at you and he says, "Where are you from?"
None yet. Or says from the floor.
He kind of looks.
Yeah, was he?
Looks down at him, like ignores him, and then looks back to Pleasant. "Where are you from?"
Not here.
Are you part of Jack's guild?
I'm not, right?
No.
Okay. And then I'll just repeat. Are you part of Jack's guild?
Yeah. Yeah, you kind of looks around. Kind of walked into our den here, one of our dens, little lady. Good hands, though, and good moves. Little slip at the end there, but solid. What brings you to Moodus? Not exactly a place to, I mean, especially if you're coming from the city. You think there's some work in Munio or something? Where are you headed? What are you doing?
Going home.
Going home?
Going home.
Well,
Going home.
all right. Fair enough. I guess I won't pry too much further. But if you're interested, in some work, we have a hand for it. I will let you know, though, if you're trying to keep your beak out of trouble, I wouldn't take anything that isn't yours unless you ask first. And he points to himself.
Oh,
So,
shit.
were
He's
they
the
on
connection.
Were they having this conversation in camp?
Oh, no. Not at all. That was
Just in open.
open.
So we heard this.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. When Keller returns to his seat and his wine, he's going to be extra vigilant.
Fair enough. And he kind of leans in and he says to Pleasant, the 2 elves are with you? What about the drunk bloke?
Unfortunately.
All right. I'll
If
extend...
at any point Oris finds any of his stuff is gone, he's just going to grab the nearest person and start a bar brawl.
Well,
But if there's nothing gone, he's going to be just drinking his hell wine.
so you're slowly clambering off the ground while he's saying to Pleasant, I'll extend some protections to you. You seem pretty, well, useful possibly. And kind of grins, and then looks over to the stable boy who's kind of moving in on Oris's belt pouch, and he kind of like does a quick hand move, which you recognize as Thieves' Cant for stop. The boy backs away quickly. Oris kind of looks around to his stuff, like just, and gets up and grabs his axe, lifting it up and kind of looking around and goes, oh, realizes he has everything, settles the axe back down next to him, and then sits back down clumsily, taking up the fire line.
I have a few questions for Deimos.
Yeah, feel free.
So, quietly, I asked Deimos if there's any way he could help me get rid of a few things that I have no use for. Things that are otherwise hard to sell.
Yeah, I can fence. What do you got?
I pull out one of the refilling bottles of ink.
Not much use here. Might be more keen on keeping it, selling it in Munio. I'll let you know that if your goal is to keep out of the eyes of the 2 snakes, and then he kind of stops for a second. The conglomerate. You could probably sell it in Munio, no problem. Little less strict out that way.
I appreciate the tip.
And if you're looking to sell it quick, you might want to just head to Erlon. You'd have to take the Wending, but Smuggler's Paradise there. You can find anything you want. You can sell pretty much anything you got.
Interesting. That sounds like quite the travel destination.
Could be. And he continues serving out drinks. Oris, you continue to get drunk. Kelder, Pleasant, Fi, do you guys have any questions that you want to engage in? One key question I want to make sure you guys are aware of, you still haven't gotten rooms.
Yeah. Is this just a bar and there's an inn elsewhere?
It's a tap room.
Tavern?
Yeah, this is just a tap room. It's actually part of an inn. The back here is actually an inn.
Oh, okay.
This is essentially working with the assumption if he drinks enough, anywhere becomes a room for him to sleep.
Yeah.
I
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, can I ask the whatever his name is, the bar guy, where can we like get some rooms?
Yeah, 2 silver a night for a common room. It's really all we got right now. There are a couple of suites, but they're taken up.
Maybe we should get a room for Oris.
Yeah. So you would know that a common room is basically just a room with like a number of beds that you rent. It would have a total of like 8 beds.
Like a hostel room.
Effectively. But if you rent out the whole room, which he says is 2 silver, then you don't let other people in. You don't have to sleep with people you don't care for.
Okay, so I say we rent a common room and just dump Oris in the stable.
Lure him into the stable.
Just like tie him to one of the horses so he doesn't wander off.
Tell Perot.
Tie him to Fi's horse.
Yeah, tell Perot. Well, tell Perot to just keep an eye on him.
You see this big ass multicolored horse just like idly wandering around town, like slowly dragging this passed out drunk barbarian everywhere.
Oh, it's not multicolored. It's just bright red. With blonde mane. Like, yeah, it's.
So that's multicolored.
I mean, I guess.
But
yeah,
still, you know what I mean. Like the image is hilarious.
Fair. Big horse dragging big man across the way. Yeah.
Big unconscious
Also
man.
Going around with trying to stand up at points and just trying to do the classic drunk confidence of, I'm really good at stuff. Surely someone wants to take me home with them.
And then
Drunk confidence in everything he does at the moment.
You're like, watch me spin this axe, and you kind of like tilt it, and like it falls so that the haft of it just slams on your toe, and like it drops off to the side and like embeds in a table, and you're just like, ah! And then you fall over, and yeah, good times.
Swears in Draconic, realizes he sweared in Draconic, looks real confused with himself, and just sits where he is. Even if it's the middle of the room, he just sits down and just like... just that existential crisis.
I don't understand what's going over me. Okay, if you're all going to basically to bed, the elves obviously don't need too much in the way of rest. So I'd like the two of you to make a wisdom perception check. It's mostly sound-based, so you'll have advantage.
Why don't elves need sleep?
They trance, they don't sleep.
Oh. Just the wisdom?
Oh, yeah, for the elves. Mm-hmm.
Oh, for them.
Yep. Stephanie, you're kind of sitting in the common room, close to the door, kind of focusing in, kind of thinking about all that's gone on. And you hear the sound of horses entering into the town. You kind of move towards the window of the room, kind of look out to the center square, and you see a total of 5 horses in conglomerate colors with 5 enforcers. 4 of them look pretty typical agent types, but the one on the lead horse, a bit different. She's wearing plate armor, very tight, form-fitting plate armor, short blonde hair. Looks like she has a dagger at her hip, and she hops off of the horse. Looks like she's striding towards the entryway of the Behir.
Fuck.
Who dis?
I'm going to immediately wake the others and kind of tell them we have...
Did I also spot her?
No. No, you're...
Okay, so 16 wasn't good enough. Gotcha.
Yeah, you're still trancing. You're inside of a building, not really paying attention to the outside. But Fi is apparently really keen-eared.
She's branding it up.
Push her around in a wheelchair.
Where's
Let's do it.
Davos?
Davos is not here. Davos is still... I mean, you haven't
with
seen
the bread
him.
lady?
Yeah, he's still with the bread lady, apparently.
Fuck.
Yeah, I want to at least tell the others what's going on downstairs.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, like Keldert starts packing all his shit up.
Okay.
He's like, we need to go.
From what you gathered, there's no entryway or no exit, no point of egress out of the tap or out of the inn, except through the tap room, unless you go out a window. The windows are not. There is no glass. They are open windows that are kind of boarded and shut. Being that it's kind of it's getting close to spring, winter's over. It's cool enough outside that the windows are actually held open in all of the rooms.
I have like an invisibility pendant, right, or something of that sort.
What'd you say?
Invisibility.
A potion of invisibility was had. I think someone had one of those. Yeah.
I think they gave that.
Yeah. Fi has it. It's her panic button. So I think we should lock the door and try to stay quiet. And if they, come up and try to come into the room, we should slip out the window. As long as they're here, we need to try and keep a very low profile.
As you guys are kind of mustering, Oris, you feel.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Make a Constitution saving throw real quick.
I was like, Keldor was like panicking and all that. Oris is more than likely just going, fuck off, and pulling
No,
whatever
no.
blankets
No,
away.
he's not doing that. That's not what he's doing. Kelder, Oris, go ahead and make that Constitution saving throw. As Kelder kind of leans down and kind of tries to
21?
get you up, you kind of feel everything that's inside of your stomach kind of lurch, and you can feel it start to come up, and you go...
Am I looking at Kelder?
And swallow your own vomit back down.
Am I looking at Kelder?
No,
And how close am I to Kelder?
you can't willingly fail the check.
Damn!
You do not throw up on Kelder, but you do hear what he's saying, and you have this sensation where you're kind of like you're not like a complete Oris jerk. You're a bit more like accepting. Like you're happier drunk, I presume, right? Yeah.
He forgets the bad shit when he's drunk.
He goes through phases.
Whatever Kelder's saying though, it sounds like it'd be fun.
You have to convince the drunk person, like, come on, let's go in the Uber. Come on, it'll be great.
Yeah.
Come on, buddy. You're the only one that can take a hit. Please get up.
But you will note, though, you are poisoned. The condition poisoned is basically the intoxicated trait. So you have disadvantage on lots of stuff.
Oof.
Oof. Big oof.
But yeah, windows or out the front door. And if you are at all kind of, after having a conversation, checking back out the window to see what's going on, you'll note that 3 of the enforcers or agents have moved to the guard barracks across the way, and 2 have tied their horses off at the front of the Behir and appear to have disappeared inside. From what you can see, it looks like the plated female, the lead, has entered into the tavern.
I can't remember her name.
Yeah, that's on you, buddy.
So we're trying to get out the window?
I don't know what you're trying to do.
Oh, well, do I know what's going on, or was I just woken up and they're trying to, like...
Yeah, they told you. They explained it.
Oh, they told me. Okay.
We make more noise, we're more suspicious. We don't want to do that. We want to get. Then we're not suspicious.
So, Lewis, I just need you to act like, any other night. Like, just be like you are any other night, okay? Not saying you're an alcoholic.
Agent 19.
Yeah.
How did she track us?
You don't know if she's tracking us.
I'm almost positive she's tracking us.
That's like your opinion, man.
So maybe we should try and wait it out, and if they leave, maybe we can follow them.
Why would you want to follow them?
If you're assuming that they're here because they're tracking us to stay in one place.
Yeah, but it could be that they're also heading to the same place we are for a completely different reason.
Mm-hmm. Because this is just like a mid-city to get to the bigger city.
Yeah, and the Yugoloth that we spoke to said that there was members of the conglomerate who were also heading down there to do something about the Magir's phylactery.
I don't think we should try to leave the window because Oris will make a lot of noise.
Right, like leaving out the window is definitely a last resort because basically if they come up and start knocking on the door asking to be let in, then we know that they're on to us. Like,
Pleasant,
Mm-hmm.
do you check out the window to see, like, how bad it would be if you're trying to move with the bull in the China store?
Are we on the first floor? It's like a one-story building.
Yeah, it's 1 story.
Okay. Yeah, I'll peek. I'll peek out the window.
You actually look out the window just as someone's passing by. Go ahead and make a stealth check.
I knew you would do that.
this is classic John DePrey.
He's like, "Are you sure? Are you sure you want to do that?" Yeah.
I like adding a little bit of,
Huh.
You kind
I don't know.
of see him,
Good.
and he kind of looks at you, and then your sudden kind of dip down kind of doesn't seem to faze him. He just kind of looks at you and, like, moves past you. The individual looks like he's one of the conglomerate agents, and he looks like he's heading towards the stables. But he
Not the horsies.
doesn't seem to notice you or concern himself with you. Just a strange creature who looked at him out the window and makes his way to the stables.
We play possum until they leave.
Yep. You're close enough to the stables that you can actually overhear his loud voice carrying. It says, "Stable boy, that horse there, give it to me. I'll take it from this place." But the man who left it, he paid for us to conglomerate business. Surrender the horse. The boy goes, "Okay, okay."
Davos' horse just got eaten.
If you guys
Yeah,
watch
which horse?
a little bit longer, you'll watch as he walks past with Sunrider.
Oh no.
Must
That
avenge.
Was that
Oh,
Davos'
wait.
horse, or was that?
That was Davos' horse, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Horse just looks at the horse as it like gets pulled past through the window and just goes, "Huh, he's walking now," and then just kind of leans back down against the.
Slumps back down.
Yeah, I'm waiting for Oris to just like whip it out and start pissing out the window.
He's
Does
not.
Keldor say that?
No. Okay. If you guys continue to just pay attention from your room, like not trying to get out or muster or do anything like that, what you eventually find out is that they convene outside again, have a very short conversation discussing the horse, and then they all kind of turn and look over at the baker's house and start moving towards it.
So what is like out of character? What is Davos in this? Is he a person? What? Is he part of this military people?
No, he's the rebellion against them.
Oh, okay. 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 I was confused.
And Stephanie, your mic keeps cutting out. I don't know if it's proximity or not, but anytime you talk, it kind of like phases. Sorry. But yeah,
So,
they look like
Kelder,
they're surrounding the door to the house, and looks like they're about to move to Kelder standard operation, breach and clear.
Am I allowed to do fun things yet?
It's about
yeah. Kelder lets them know that, you know, this, hey, it looks like they're about to bust into this building and take Davos into custody. Do we want to help him?
I would say they kind
I
of
go do fun things.
vanish away. They're about 300 feet or so away from you guys, or 200 feet away from you guys.
I have no connection to
Lewis,
Davos.
it sounds like you're getting really antsy. Like you really want to fuck some shit up.
Oris is drunk and that's what he likes to do anyway.
He's also poisoned, so he's like weakened or whatever.
Yeah, much less effective.
Yeah.
But as with every drunk British person, much more arsey.
You see someone pop out of the bed here and start rushing over in that direction. And you hear a voice yell out, "Hey!" And the voice sounds like the barkeep's.
Should we intervene or should we?
I think maybe we could get into position to intervene. So maybe try to sneak out and try to get into position.
They're not by the door anymore, so we could just leave out the front door.
How many of them are there?
5.
5 total.
I think we might be able to take them. Just be aware that several of them will be magic users or anti-magic users.
You're pretty sure none of them are magic users.
Oh, well, that's very encouraging. But
Enforcers.
why do I like not see any spellcasting focuses or spell books or anything like that?
No, you know 19 is very skilled at killing wizards. Like you.
Okay, well, I guess that just means that Oris is going to take care of her.
Gosh. Yeah, that'd be really fun. Especially in his current state.
Grimace emoji.
If you guys are kind of paying attention, are you exiting out of your tavern room or are you staying inside of it? Last call.
I vote we leave and try to intervene.
Do what?
To leave the tavern or stay in the tavern?
Leave the tavern and try to get into a position to intervene and sort of sabotage these.
Why do we care? Why do we care about Davos?
Well, he's been our ally. I mean, personally, Kelder considers him a friend.
Oh, okay. I mean, I don't have any connection to him, so.
No, I mean, you really haven't known him very long. You've only been with our group for maybe a couple days.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So that's why I'm like sitting back because I don't.
As you see,
I'm willing to help him just because I have everyone else's best interest at heart as well. So
As you guys are kind of chatting back amongst each other, kind of, ruling out whether or not this is worth it or not, you see Demos walking towards the side of the building that you guys are on with the horse, with Sunrider, kind of walking towards the stables. You see him look over to the stable boy and kind of like gesture like this. The boy rushes out, takes the reins of the horse. Then you see Demos kind of walk towards the building, look at the window, and go to whoever's looking out of it. Then he walks up the side of the building onto the top of the building, like literally like labyrinth style. Just walks up the side of the building onto the roof.
Nice.
Dance, magic dance.
You hear a light tapping on your door.
Should we open it?
yeah.
Always will.
I'm gonna open it. I'm gonna open the door.
You see a young stable boy, not the same one, but a different one, kind of look at you and go, "Come on," and kind of walk down the hallway to what you thought was a dead end in the hall.
Follow the stable boy. I
Yeah.
help Oris.
He reaches down, kind of grabs the floor, and like lifts up this panel, and kind of gestures down.
I jump in. I hop in.
Yeah, I help Oris down.
Oh yeah.
Or it just drops. Just if it's a straight drop down, he's just jumping.
It lands in a pile of meat and muscle at the bottom,
Oh,
Dumb son of a bitch.
and after a second, his axe falls and hits him.
Thump.
It's like thump, clank, ow!
You guys head down what appears to be kind of like a stone stairway that kind of leads in underneath the building, and then it kind of switches back to continue down until you go down about 30 feet or so, until you get to a stone room with a single door at the end of it. And the room construction seems very similar to the underbelly of Lord Kalthos's manor. It appears to be a old Meridian shelter. The door opens, and you see Davos kind of looking at you, and he says, "Come on." And kind of gestures you into this underchamber.
Oh, okay.
Okay, follow Davos.
Shuts the door and triple locks it. It appears to have a bar lock, a door lock, and like a bolt. And inside of this chamber is him and the woman you saw, the baker. She kind of, gives you a, hey. Davos kind of looks to you. They probably trailed me, not you. But it's obviously going to present a problem unless your entire life goal is defending me. I need to get back into the city. I could travel up to Munio. I could go and try and find Old Guard there and bring them back. But what's happening in the city now needs attention. Now. Choa's got me a way back, and I believe my discussion, short as it was with Demos, gave an excellent foil as to what they'll be doing. So
are they after you, or are they after the Butcher's Bride?
they're after me. Why? Do you want to keep it?
I mean, if they were after the Butcher's Bride, we could use that to throw them off the trail by taking it with us, and hopefully provide you a clearer way to enter the city.
I haven't felt the same ever since I picked up this weapon. I'll be honest. And I don't know if I like it. But
Kelder looks around and looks at everyone else and says, "Does anyone want to take it?"
What is the Butcher's Bride?
it's a cleaver that he has. Just a magical cleaver. You've seen him throw it, and then it magically returns back to his hand.
Would make for an excellent throwing knife for, a rogue.
I think it chooses who it chooses. And the problem is ever since I've had it, it's felt strangely disconnected. And it's made me feel the same way. And I think that's why we slipped up when we did. I'm sorry for pushing you earlier, Kelder. I understand it wasn't you who brought us out. I know who it was. And well, it's a problem. And
Well, if you return to the city, I hope you make him pay.
I will. Top of the list. He kind of looks to Lady Fi. I'm sorry for that business on the boat. I can't apologize enough. Oris, gonna have to find a new job, guy. And the pleasure was mine. Pleasant. I'll ask you again, Kelder. Do you want me to leave the bride with you, or do you want me to take it?
Leave it with us.
It seems that
You'll be better off without it.
he sets it onto the table in front of him. It seems that these weapons have some sort of connection. There might be something important there. If there's power there, do I have your word that you'll return back to the city and help bring down the conglomerate?
Absolutely. Where we're going, hopefully we can disrupt or destroy the Magier's phylactery.
Good. Good. I'll be leaving in a few hours, not too much longer here. I know these accommodations aren't as nice as the ones above, but they'll have to do.
If we succeed in destroying this Lich's phylactery, you will most likely be the first to know.
Well, I don't really know what you're talking about. He kind of looks to you. But it sounds magically inclined and important. And you know, Davos isn't exactly the smartest guy. Just cares.
No, but I mean, if you...
Again, he doesn't. He doesn't know.
Right.
He doesn't know what
Right,
that means.
right.
The word phylactery is not something he's.
I basically sum it up as if...
Oh, he doesn't ask. He just,
Okay,
he just
well,
leaves it.
Okay, fair enough.
He imagines the big words you've used. You've got it. And then he kind of looks over to the woman. He says, "Choa, I'm sorry about your house up there. They're gonna find it, and then they're gonna be on their way. But they'll probably leave it in a bad state." She says, it's fine. It's not the first time conglomerate have raided my house. It's not the first time I've had to take shelter for loyalists. It's fine.
So can I attune to the Butcher's Bride?
No.
No? Okay. But it's also not like disappearing for me and going back to...
Correct.
Okay. Okay, cool. So I'll just hang on to it for now. Add it to my character sheet.
It seems that when Davos relinquishes it, it seems that he's kind of straining to do so, and kind of that lets it go, kind of settles with it, takes a couple of moments and then kind of moves away from it intentionally. And every so often throughout this conversation, you kind of see him glance over to where it is, if it's still out on the table or visible.
No, I would have just picked it up and put it away.
Yeah. Okay. And the night goes by uneventfully. Beforehand, you do note that Davos is leaving. And it appears that he's leaving out the same way you came in, out through the tavern. You hear his horse kind of whinny off as Choa, the woman, kind of leads you to where you're going. So Choa, she is wearing leathers. She had a couple of knives on her when you first saw her. She's not, the most attractive woman, but she has very striking green eyes. Very striking. Almost like they're not like from around, Osiria. Most people here kind of have bluer or browner eyes. These green eyes seem to be a bit more foreign. And not an uncommon sight in Vendar, though pleasant. So humans with green eyes isn't uncommon there, but a bit more so here. That said, she gestures to the door. I've got to get my business started soon. Do you need anything besides what I've offered so far?
Kelder would bid, Davos farewell and wish him as much luck as he could.
Sure. He kind of gives you, a sturdy grasped handshake. He kind of looks to you. Good luck with whatever it is you plan to do. And may Atavius guide my hand as I try to do what I do. All right.
So
Go ahead.
we're still in the underground
Yeah.
pit area. Okay.
So it seems to be like kind of a best way to describe it would be like an underground kind of bunker with several beds, a couple of food stores, dry food, and pit for cooking. But from what you can tell, there are 2 exits. The one that you came through, and then there appears to be a similar exit up to, you presume, Choa's house.
I would ask Showa if there's any way we could get, like, if we're gonna be here a while, I would like to have the rest of that wine I was drinking.
Yeah.
You can go back up. It's fine. It would seem that they've left, so you can go about your day however you like. Like I said, I have business I need to attend to. But once you're out, just make sure Demos knows that the safe house is clear.
Okay, I do that. I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna head back to the bar. I'm gonna let Demos know the safe house is clear, and I'm gonna buy that whole bottle of wine.
Okay. So you're getting there. It's early morning. You can actually see the sun kind of peeking out because you had to stay down there for the rest of the night. And when you get up there, Demos is not at the counter. There is a woman there who you think you might have seen in the tavern, possibly like a server. She kind of looks over to you, and you buy the rest of the bottle. She gives it to you. Seems she doesn't recognize how much it's worth, and asks you, "Do you know how much he said it cost?"
Kelder gives her 2 gold.
Okay. She says, "Yeah, that seems fair," and hands you the bottle.
Okay.
Is she hot?
No.
Okay.
She's she's fine, I guess. Weirdo.
I totally thought that was gonna go like, she's like 14, man.
Awkward.
So, Oris, when you get out and the sun kind of like beams into your eyes, you're no longer poisoned. However, you do have 1 level of exhaustion. Your sleep was not the best. And
Boys, turns, pivots, goes back to sleep.
you still have a room.
Yep.
So yeah, have at it. But the rest of you, it's daylight. From what you can hear, it sounds like the town is starting to bustle a bit. You can hear the sound of metal ringing from the south, kind of on the opposite side of the church. You do hear a church bell toll twice. And then you do see that there are other people kind of moving about the town. And some are kind of setting up what appears to be just general, places to sit and meander around some sort of shrine kind of in the center of the town.
So the conglomerate people have moved on.
They are not present yet.
Yeah.
Okay, did they continue on in the direction that we're heading, or did they continue on back towards Osiris?
Are you asking me, the DM, or are you asking me an actual NPC?
I mean, I'd probably ask Deimos.
Demos isn't present. It's just that woman again.
Okay, well, I'd ask, maybe I'll ask the stable boys, because I know they're kind of in.
Okay.
Stable boy.
When you go back over...
no, there's more than one of them.
So you would think. When you go back over to the stable, there is the one boy, the one that you saw from before. He's a little tired, and you kind of like, oh, do you need your horse? I can get you your horse.
No, actually, I was hoping to ask you a couple questions about those visitors we had.
Demos told me not to tell any talk about it.
Can I ask him? Be like, hey. Can I give him like a sign?
Yeah,
like
if you think you can be more convincing than me, by all means, go ahead. I just want to know which way they headed.
Pleasant, I'll allow you to make a persuasion check. No, sorry. Demos said nobody but him, and not allowed to talk about it. I'm sorry.
Well, if you see Deimos, let him know that I would like to know which direction they left in.
Demos, I think he's He's praying. Kind of gestures to the temple. It's a
Okay.
it's a holy day. So you guys kind of all think about it for a second and realize, oh, I didn't even know what day of the 6th day it was. So time is measured out not in weeks and 6 days. And the last day of the 6th day is known as the Day of Dan. The Day of Dan is the religious holy day of Atavius. Yeah, it would appear that the people setting up near the shrine are setting up for a different religion, but there's less of them. And then a lot of people are kind of focused in on the temple, some people entering into it preparing for worship. Also, a couple of people are kind of meandering into the town from outside of the town's limits, presumably travelers from somewhere else as the morning continues on. But yeah, there's a ton of different places here that appear to, have people working in them that aren't, adhering to any religious, rituals or what have you. Like I said, you can hear the sound of a blacksmith south of the temple. The guards appear to be kind of staffed in their position. That strange brewery seems to be active. Smoke billowing out from it. A couple of other different buildings. There's got to be a general store around here somewhere. Yep. Just let me know what you guys
So
want to do.
do we want to just continue on to get towards the city then? The big city that we're going to? Or do we want to stay here? I don't know why we would, really.
Let me take off my exhaustion. So I'm back at full strength. That's about it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, but
Okay.
we'll just be traveling, so you can... I don't know if you need to, like, steer your horse, actually.
Yeah.
All I really want to know is which direction the conglomerate left in, and other than that, I don't think there's really anything else Kelder needs or wants to do in this town.
Yeah.
Are you asking anybody besides the stable boy?
And
I'll ask that baker lady.
Okay, if you go in and speak to Choa, Choa will say, yeah, I believe they went back to the city. That's where Demos would have told them to go.
To Osiria?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I
Do
believe...
you have any idea what they were looking for?
Oh, Davos.
Specifically, do you know why?
Yeah, because he escaped out of the city after what sounds like a pretty horrific event from what he explained. They killed Lord Kalphos. They executed him on the square.
That's unfortunate. He was a good man.
He'll serve better as a martyr than he will when he was alive, I'm sure. And she's kind of in her shop, which is just across the way, as you're talking to her, and she's just pounding the crap out of some dough.
Like angrily?
Workingly. She doesn't seem to be too
Okay.
terribly, like, disgruntled or anything.
I thank her for her time, and I ask her if there is anything she needs.
No. I need an hour or two extra before I haven't even gotten any of the loaves of bread for today done.
Do I think that there is any way I could be capable of helping her with her chores?
You can attempt to. If the two of you are like, kind of offering to do so, she says fine. If the two of you work in tandem together, trying to help her, you can go ahead and make either baker's tools, whatever the kit would be for a baker. If you don't have that trained, which I'm pretty sure neither of you do, you can make just a straight intelligence check. And then whoever makes the intelligence check, the other person will be helping them. So you have advantage.
Well, I'm super smart, so I think I should go ahead and make that check.
All right.
Advantage.
So Fi is helping you make the intelligence check, so you'll have advantage on the check.
Hey, Fi, we're Keebler elves.
Anytime. Just let me know what you got.
Oh, okay.
22.
22 is really good. The two of you spend about half an hour with her, helping her, and you seem to catch up the missed time that she had. She basically tells you what to do, and the two of you kind of very quickly recall what she says and perform the tasks just as they're explained, without having to be shown, just to be told. And she's, every time you are put to a task, you see her kind of like a, huh, like she's happy. And after that 30 minutes, she says, "Okay, that's plenty of help. Thank you so much." Or, I mean, are you looking for, more reliable work? She kind of looks at Vi. Probably not. I'm sorry to have asked.
Kelder laughs and smiles politely, and he says, "No, we just wanted to thank you for all your help. If we do come this way again, I'd be more than happy to help you again."
Okay. Just as you guys are saying that, the door opens, and in flies a strange creature, probably about 2.5 feet in diameter, and orb-shaped. On the top of the orb is a blue cap with white stars. On its back, I guess, is a reddish cape. In the center of this in the center of this thing is a single eye, with a big mouth filled with teeth, and two hands kind of like lazily like floating beneath him. And on top of its head, besides the cap, are 4 stalks with eyes at the end of them. He kind of like flies in, kind of looking at you guys, and kind of looks over to Lou and says, "Yeah, I'm here for my order." And kind of smiles. You see Choa kind of smile back, but the two of you are like, "What the what is this?" And it looks like this guy.
Can I make a check to identify it?
Oh God.
You can make an Arcana check, yeah.
Yeah, that is goofy as looking as hell. That's hilarious. That looks like a 5-year-old's party piñata.
I love him.
Why
I
is he
got a 27, nat 20.
He appears to be a beholderkin, specifically a Gawker variant, which you know that there are some beholders that are not hell-bent on becoming some sort of like tyrant and destroying others, that are not evil like focused. The fact that this one just entered into the tavern and hasn't been accosted by guards or anything to that effect would lead you to assume that this appears to be one that's welcome in the town. As Choa kind of readies a sack, kind of sets it out onto the table, and she says, "You know the charge." And you see him kind of like reach into his mouth and kind of like pull out a bag, open it up and dump a couple of coins onto it, shut the bag and put it back into his mouth, kind of settling it inside of his mouth in like a very specific way, using his tongue to kind of move it to where it goes. And he says, "All right, thank you," and kind of picks up the bag and kind of looks at you elves and kind of gives you a quizzical look. And then as
Kelder smiles and like nods politely.
as he's flying away, you see that his 4 eye stalks are still looking back at you as he's flying away, just kind of like focused. Choa kind of chuckles, looking at the two of you. Never seen a beholderkin before. What'd you say, Chad? You were muted, I think.
Oh no, Stephanie said he looks like Magician Mickey, and I was like, yeah, he definitely does. It's like Miwad in Fantasia clothing.
I hate you guys. But yeah, Choa says, "Never seen a beholderkin before."
I've heard of them, but no, never seen one.
Bizdazaka is a strange one indeed. He's the town's alchemist. Makes potions just nearby.
This dude is? This round dude?
Yeah, the beholderkin.
Sorry, I wasn't super paying attention.
It's okay. But
There
yeah,
was...
she says he makes potions just across the way there.
Are his little things like hands with eyes, or are they just eye sockets?
Eye stalks is what they're called. They
Stalks.
They move around like they're prehensile, but they have an eye at the end.
Ooh.
You've never
How much did you say healing potions were? Were they 50 gold or 100?
50. Well, they were 100 in town, or in the city. You don't know what they're worth here.
Okay. Well, let's. I guess we. before we leave, I wouldn't mind seeing what kind of potions he has and
Okay.
how much they are.
I'm going to cut the scene from you guys and cut back to Oris. For the 30 minutes that they're pounding at dough, do you just kind of go back to your room and settle down, or are you going to, like, tiredly go and try and do something?
Probably at the very most. Like, Ozzy's tired and hungover and not in the mood for a lot of games. If anyone accosts him, he's also not in the mood to just not punch people in the face. But he's not starting at the face.
So you are staying in the tap room. You're not going... Is that what you just said?
He's heading back to his room to sleep,
Okay.
grabbing something to eat and drink on his way to
Gotcha.
his room.
Gotcha.
If
So the
anyone in the
the tap room's probably where you'd collect that, and then nobody is really present besides the waiter or the server that I mentioned. And she's behind the counter. She cooks you up some mutton and some bread and some it appears to be kind of a pork gravy, which all sounds really good. Pretty well salted.
Boris is probably giving it quite the flat as well, because he's still got that slightly drunk confidence. But the intention is to go sleep.
Yeah, she seems amicable, but like it doesn't sound like she's too game on anything other than just a flirtation. You take your food and your probably some sort of squash back to your room and finish and go to sleep. All right, pleasant. During that 30 minutes, also while Oris is kind of stumbling about getting food and drunkenly, hungoverly drunk, flirting with the woman there, what would you like to do? Town's your oyster, by the way. Do what you want. You can go wherever you like.
So people are at church and stuff right now?
It would seem so. But there is activity. There's a building south of the church that appears to have like banging, from what it sounds like a smithy. There's a brewery just there that seems to have some activity as well. And then your assumption is that the shops are all open.
Okay. I wanted to talk to the bartender guy, but I guess he's at church.
That's where you'd have to go if you wanted to.
What's everyone else doing? Oris is getting food. Kelder's getting intel. What's Fi doing?
Kelder and Fi both kind of... Sorry, Stephanie, go ahead.
Oh.
I thought we were making bread at this time.
Oh, you're making... Okay. Just for funsies? Chatting with the bread lady? Okay, I'm gonna go to the church, I guess.
Okay. When you go in, it seems that it's very kind of hymny. A lot of songs are being sung, and you can see everyone kind of standing at current, singing some sort of song. From the sounds of it, it sounds like very pious song about how great Atavius is and how great his even-handed judgments upon the world are.
Does my region, is it a pretty like religious area, or is it separate religion?
It's a separate religion. So
okay,
on this side,
so I don't.
Well, on this side of the world, they worship one god, and his name is Atavius. There are other worships that are had throughout, but more southern based. The Elvish gods are worshipped more south of here. Atavius is very popular here. In fact, it's the nation's like religion. On your side of the world, the human folk there worship a group of gods known as the Agamedanid, and they are basically a grouping of women who have instructed man in his development. Each one of them kind of focuses on one of the primal aspects of nature: earth, wind, fire, and water. And then there's also the goddess of knowledge, or the goddess of the mind. And then there's also the goddess of there's another thing, and for some reason stuff isn't loading, but it's also important. Yep.
But it's basically different.
Yes.
Okay. I go and can I see, what's his name again? The bartender guy?
Yeah, Demos. Yeah, you see him.
Demos.
It looks like he's kind of standing next to a couple of women, and there's also a couple of young lads there. It looks like the stable boy who secreted you away last night is with him, possibly relation, now that you think about it. And Demos kind of has his hand on his heart, but you realize that he's holding his hat to his chest, and then in his other hand he has the hymnal book.
Can I kind of like work my way into the pew, I guess, or the row where he's at?
Make a stealth
Near
check
him?
because you're moving in church.
Okay. Well, not
No,
not like weirdly.
It's okay.
But yeah.
But like I don't know if you've ever been
Yeah.
to. I mean, I try to avoid it, but if
Yeah.
you've ever been to church, it's very.
yeah.
Everyone
They're doing a
everyone
thing.
kind of looks at the person who's daring to
So.
move during like something.
Oh, there we go.
You get a couple of eyes, specifically Demos, who kind of, as you're approaching, kind of gestures for the young boy to kind of move away, allowing you an open spot just at the end near the aisle, allowing you to just slip in next to him. And as the hymning is going, you see him kind of raise the hat just a little bit so that the brim is covering up his face, and he seems to still be singing, but like then speaks down to you and says,
Yeah.
so you're interested in that work?
Yeah.
He,
Well, I'm here.
he kind of nods. Wait until after this, and we'll slip out together.
Ah, now I have to stay in church. I got baited.
The hymn goes for another couple of minutes, and you're like the whole time just. But you kind of have this like you realize that there's a fun game in this where you start mimicking people's voices and trying to like sing the song and like weirdly.
Oh, dude, on our little trip, I'm gonna be singing the song. Like,
I'll have to come up with it. And then eventually the hymn dies down. Everyone starts seating, and Demos kind of speaks to the woman closest to him. She kind of nods her head, and he kind of slips out of the chamber, or out of the chapel, rather, with you. Once you get outside, he kind of looks to you and he says, "Are you serious now? No joking. I've got a pretty serious need for a bit of work, especially if someone's got horses and is willing to travel. And seeing as we did a bit of a favor for your friends last night, I'm sure that should give us some open footing here to get this job done."
and then I just repeat to her, "Get the job done."
He kind of nods his head. What I'm looking at having done is well, we've got a device coming in from Erlon. It's from Parnak. It's known as an auto carriage. Basically, it's a horseless carriage that drives on strange technological powers. Those people in Rostagar, they're coming up with all sorts of crazy devices. Anyways, I need that delivered here. The main issue I'm having, though, is there seems to be a customs problem in Ursulon, which is a city not too far away from it, outside the Wending. And basically I need someone to help me slip that vehicle, that auto carriage, through the city without attention being drawn to it. So if you're headed up north, you end up in Ursulon, that's where the job is. And you're going to be looking for a fellow named Davis. Davis is the one who's going to be able to move you to where you need to be to help get that car through and around that city so that it's not scoped out and taken by the guards, and more specifically, the conglomerate, who have a heavy presence in the city.
So I just need to move this carriage within that city that it's in.
I need to get it through the city, and I need it to
Through the city.
not be spotted. We thought about obviously, common thoughts are trying to travel around it, but Ursulon is kind of a pretty enclosed place. It's built into a cliff, and the northern portion is where I have the vehicle currently held up. It's not too far from the the Curios's keep, and the word Curios kind of rolls out of his mouth, and you were expecting him to say the word in the Lord's keep, but this word is strange to you. You've never heard it before. I would say it's curious that he used it instead of Lord, but the Curios keep, and we basically need to get it through the city, down the cliff to the lower portion of the city, and I'm pretty sure Davis has some means of getting it from the city out, possibly on the Carios Bay. Or Carios River. My brain didn't work. A bit of smuggling.
Sounds easy enough.
Well, if you're up for it, just head over to Ursulon and let Davis know. My business here and my family kind of keep me kind of close to this place, and I don't have much time to help out. I'm pretty sure it's not too hard a job, but it definitely needs a keen eye and a cunning hand.
I'll keep that in mind.
Thank you. It'd be greatly appreciated. The guild would definitely remember a favor like that.
And then I leave and I go back to the bread place.
Okay. So it's been about 30 minutes with you two, kind of mustering into the church, sitting there for a bit, then the hymning and the talking. So you make it there just about the same time they're finished. You guys reconvene. What would you like to do?
Get the fuck out of this town.
They look like they're heading in a direction, though. They look like they have a goal. Where the heck is Chad?
Everyone else.
Fi and Kelder.
Oh. I follow them. I catch up to them.
Okay. Looks like they're heading towards the potion shop, if I recall correctly. Right, Stephanie? Okay. Yeah, it looks like they're heading towards a small little shop not too far from the bakery. And when you guys arrive there, you enter in. It's a very small, kind of rural kind of looking building. It's filled with all sorts of strange kind of just piecemeal shelves that have been kind of thrown together. But every single one is filled to the brim with glass jars and bottles and decanters that are filled with all different colors of liquids, some that are incandescent and are glowing a bit. And floating over what appears to be a small table is the creature I showed you before. And he kind of looks up with just his eye stalks at all of you as you enter in.
With different eye stalks?
All four of them, just...
Oh.
And he kind of says, "Can I help you?"
Yes, we heard you were the local alchemist. I was curious what kind of potions you had.
No, all types. All types. Allow me to introduce myself. It kind of floats over towards you, leaving his tools to the side. I'm Viz Dozaka. It kind of gestures out with his little weird hand. It appears that he only has 3 total fingers, 1 thumb, 2 fingers, as he kind of reaches out to shake your hand.
So it doesn't look like that hand has recently been in his mouth, has it?
No. Maybe.
Like, it's not, like, visibly dripping with saliva.
Oh, no, it's not.
Okay, yeah, Kelder shakes the hand with a smile, being as polite as he can.
Very, very, very strange that elves heading around these parts. And when you say he in your mind just then, you're not even sure. I mean, yeah, he definitely has a certain baritone, or it certainly has a certain baritone to its voice, but you're not sure if it is a he or a she. And you think about it a little bit more as you're sitting there, and you remember that beholders are asexual. They reproduce asexually. So it's neither. It's non-gendered. But that said, it kind of like, says, all types. Potions of healing are the most common that I sell. And it kind of moves over to one shelf and kind of gestures to it. You see all different types of potions, all reddish in color, all kind of varying heights, but mostly 2 different types. One shorter, pretty common to what you would recognize as a potion of healing, and some quite a bit bigger than that.
Well, does he have a potion of heroism, a potion of speed, or... Let me see. A potion of fire breathing?
Potion of heroism. No, I've never made that before. Potion of Speed, you said? Kind of like musters around. Something that makes you go faster? No, not so much. Fire breathing. Hold on. No, nope. I've got, let's see. Kind of like musters around. I've got this, these potions of healing. I mentioned those, yeah. This potion here, makes you more resistant to the cold. This potion, here, will help you climb stronger. Kind of smiles. This potion here will make you really small.
I love this dude.
It will shrink you down for about an hour. Yeah. This one, electricity, will not harm you as much. It'll probably still harm you, to be fair. And this potion will allow you to breathe underwater.
And how much are these potions?
Let's
say the potion that lets you breathe underwater and your healing potions. How much are those?
150 for the water breather. These small potions of healing are 50, and these bigger ones are 150.
So the bigger ones heal more, I imagine.
Oh yes. The most grievous of wounds.
Kelder gestures to the small ones and he says, "I'll take one of those ones. One of the
That'll be 50 gold.
Smaller potions of healing."
And he kind
50 gold, you said?
Yep, kind of floats over to the table. You see him kind of pull out a lockbox, and kind of pop it open, and then kind of fly over to you. Actually, he would stop there for a second, and you see him write something on a ledger in a very strange-looking language, and then fly back over to you, handing you the bottle for the coin. Anyone else need anything? If not, I should be back to work.
He smiles at the beholder. He finds his mannerisms quite charming. He says, "You seem a good sort. I'd like to give you a gift."
Oh, okay.
Nothing too extravagant. Just, something I've acquired in my adventures, and I think you might like it. And I take one of the refilling ink bottles and just set it on the counter and slide it over to him. I said, this bottle of ink will never run dry.
Well,
you're really trying to push that.
The acolyte.
I've got a lot of them, and they're fairly worthless, I imagine.
Why'd you take them?
The acolytes of this temple, of the temple that I was raised in, said that a gift should always be met with a gift in kind. He takes the bottle, kind of sets it onto the table, kind of dabs it, and kind of starts writing, as I thought, and smiles. Kind of flies back to you. You do notice, though, even when he turns his back on you, specifically this is for Pleasant, he's always got an eye on each one of you.
Mm-hmm.
Or it's always got an eye on each one of you. Then it flies back over to the rack where the potions are, pulls one of the larger healing potions off Kelder, and hands it to you.
Aww.
To me?
Why, many thanks. So is this like a potion of greater healing?
Whatever the second one is, yeah. I think it's 4d4 plus 4 instead of 2d4 plus 2. Yep. Okay. The transaction complete. You guys leave the potion shop, right? Unless you have anything else you want to talk to him about.
I'm good. I just followed him.
It does look like just next door. So basically, Cho's Bakery is here. And then just north of that is the potion shop. And then just north of that, it appears there's a general store. The temple you guys have covered. You already know about the beefy bat here. There's a brewery across the way. There's a shrine in between you and it. Couple of buildings there. One looks like, let's see. From your position, one looks like a... where? One looks like a manor house, quite nicely built. And then the other one looks like a pretty nice house as well. So the rich people in town probably live here and next to it. Just behind that is a farm. Even from this distance, you can see that there is a elvish woman working, or half elvish perhaps, working the farm pretty much by herself. You're pretty sure that the Kyrios, and then this is a term I need to make sure you guys are aware of. Oris, not terribly familiar with it. Kelder and Phi, probably a bit more so. A Kyrios is what the Osirians call their lords, but they're not feudal lords. They do not rule over the people in present party. They basically serve as kind of like a heretical or heritaged, like a born into their job mayor. Yeah, and then just next to them is a stable. That's it. If you guys have any other interests in the town, great. If not, are you staying... Oh, in the south of the temple, there's what sounds like a smithy.
I'm good.
Good. Kelder, good.
Ready to head out?
Yeah, I think I've got everything I need.
Okay. And Oris, you're a bit tired. You do try and get a little bit of rest. You still feel a bit exhausted, but not terribly so. And then if you guys muster up, you're going to head north out of the town, across the bridge over the Cienos River, and head north towards Ursulon.
To grandmother's house we go.
Agreed. All right, so let me just do one of these. All right, so you guys head towards Ursulon. From your anticipation, or expectations rather, it's probably going to be about 3 days travel on horseback, and moving along the roads, not too terribly hard to travel. During the first day, and this is how we're going to engage in this, I need for you to elect a party member who will be the representative for the party as a whole, and that individual needs to roll a D100.
Can I do it?
Go for it.
I vote
Okay.
Phi.
Do people have different stats for a D1? It's just a 100. So
100-sided dice. Yeah, it's whoever rolls it, rolls it. It's just whoever's luck you believe in.
Yeah, and it also means whoever we want to get mad at if they fumble.
Usually,
Bye.
yeah. Usually, this roll is assigned to Chad.
Doesn't Chad get bad rolls?
That's the point. Yeah,
I mean, I get pretty good rolls. I've been rolling pretty high today.
yeah. That's
Yeah, so it's bound to crash.
I mean, that's generally how it works, but also it can just keep going until it crashes later.
I don't care who rolls.
fair.
I vote Phi.
5.
Whoever rolls it first.
I'll do it.
Go,
I'm not
Steph,
scared.
go.
Do it, Phi.
A 100. Oh.
Should be able to select
Where is
it in the roll section on the left. Oh, I lied. Maybe it's not on there. Oh, there it is.
Wait, I found it.
Yep. Advanced roll.
There's an advanced dice roller.
Cool.
48.
All right, so the first day, pretty uneventful. Not too much going on. Weather-wise, it does seem to be a bit overcast, but you're pretty much traveling through farmlands and like open fields. The road is pretty well kept, and that's something that Osiris is pretty well known for. Its roads, but it's not too bad. It's not a bad day's travel. You guys set up for rest. There are a couple places to kind of canter off to and set up a campsite. You guys would want to do so safely, so I need one individual to make a survival check to see if you can set up a safe camp.
Is anybody proficient in survival?
Yep.
Mine
I got
is 2.
+5.
All right. Well, I vote.
Is he still
Oris.
drunk? Or hungover?
No. He's
Okay.
a bit tired still. I mean, he's ready to go to bed, to be sure. But
Okay.
yeah.
So I vote Oris. Can we have somebody aid him?
I would say no for the camp check.
Okay, then Oris, just roll it up.
Yep. Let me know what you got.
Hell yeah.
That's a 20.
All right. Yeah, you find a very, very safe place to camp, and then once you guys bed down and get your, fire going, it is kind of cold out. You're in the northern lands. I'd just ask how you guys are preparing to defend yourself during the night.
Well, I'd say Fi and I can just switch off watches. Like one of us could trance, and then when they're done, the other one can trance.
So you're down for exactly 8 hours, 9 hours if you count preparation time in the morning. Sounds good.
Yeah.
All right. So then you guys sleep through the entirety of the night. Let's see. Okay. During the next day, someone who is not the person who rolled the first time is now your party representative, and they need to go ahead and roll the dice.
I'll do this one. I got a 16.
Wow. All right. As you're traveling along the road, you guys feel the pitter patter of rain kind of dance across your skin as you're riding. The clouds above you start to become a bit more dark and dense, and it starts to rain pretty heavily. Very quickly, you realize that you're not very suited for this type of travel, especially when the hail starts descending down on your party. I'd like everybody to go ahead and just make a Constitution saving throw. Just let me know what you got. It's really good.
I got a 19.
I got 9. I don't know. How do you... The first number, right?
Yeah.
9.
Oris 26, Elder 19, me 13, Pleasant 9.
Okay. So everyone takes... so Pleasant would take 6 points of cold damage, and the other 3 will take 3.
So how do I do that?
You just take 6 damage.
Oh, just 6. Okay.
Yeah. If a damage has like a type, the reason why I mentioned the type is some people might be able to resist the type. If someone had drank that cold potion, for example, they would have been better for this. But anyways, it seems to be pretty bad, and traveling further on will continue to result in pain and numbing. But there do appear to be a couple of options for kind of finding a place to hide in. It seems that there's a grouping of caves kind of set inside of a nearby kind of hill. The caves look like they're old human built or human dug caves, but you don't know what might be layering in those. And then just to the west of you, west of the road that you're on, there's a forest. So you can stay in the hail, or you can diverge. And also, or
diverge.
By this time, you are no longer exhausted, by the way. You slept last night.
I say let's find some shelter, get out of this crazy weather.
Yeah, I want to diverge.
Sounds like we're in Indiana, you guys.
Okay, so forest or caves?
Which directions are they?
Caves.
Your 3 options are continue riding, taking damage as you do, go towards the caves and see if you can't find a place to hide out there, or go towards the forest and see if you can find a place to hide.
Are the forest and the cave in the same direction?
Forest is basically northwest of you. Caves are southeast of you.
Forest.
Caves.
You'll eventually have to come back to the road. Traveling with horses is not going to be a great idea in a forest or in a rocky area.
I would think it'd be better to travel in a forest than a cave with horses.
I mean, fair, but you're probably going to want to just basically ground down until the rain and hail stops, and then continue on the road.
Wouldn't the cave offer more protection from the
guess a cave, yeah.
I mean, if you want to. You can do whatever you want. I apologize for interjecting. I'll shut up.
Cave is fine.
You tell me what you're doing.
Okay with the cave.
Cave. Lewis, Chad?
forest.
Chad
I
said
vote
caves.
caves because it offers more protection from the hail.
3
and
for
just
caves.
Elements in general.
All right, when you get towards the hill, you'll see that there are a total of 5 different caves, cave mouths that you can see. 3 appear to be on a high cleft up above, like towards the top of the hill, and 2 seem to be closer to the ground level. The 2 that are on the ground level, the one on the left appears to have a lot of scree and rubble that's kind of built up around it, and it looks like it's a very narrow egress into it. If you'd like, you can make either a nature check or a survival check at this point. Moving on. The one to the right looks like it's been cleared relatively recently, and it looks like there are some markings that have been painted on the exterior of the door.
15 for the survival.
Yeah, you would recognize that it looks like a burrow or a wolf's den. The way that it's been kind of patterned and kind of broken off at the top, it looks like they were trying to build up whatever the creature that lives inside of it was kind of building up a kind of defensive area so that it can climb out, but others would have a hard time climbing in.
No, that one sounds not good.
I would like to use detect magic and my own investigative skills to sort of scout out the area and see which one of these caves looks the safest.
You waste a lot of time.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Or it states that, yeah, there's something likely has been around, is around, or just states what he knows.
Okay. Yeah, the 3 at the top of the hill, from this vantage point, you can't really see like what's going on in them. You would need to climb up there to kind of investigate those 3 cave holes.
I'll also go climb it.
Okay.
I have an invest.
Make an athletics check. It's a bit of a steep climb and a slippery one with the rain and the hail. Not quite good enough. You actually kind of stumble back down a bit and aren't able to make it. The other thing that you notice too, the rain is kind of buffeting the sound, but you know that if you were in a less noisy environment, you probably would have been well heard.
I said we move on and find elsewhere. I don't think this area is particularly safe. 5 caves close together, 1 a burrow. We are asking for trouble.
So like I said, it seems that it's a wolf burrow, but based on the size, it's probably something bigger. You get my meaning?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. And then the other one looks like it has symbols kind of painted around the exterior of the cave. Markings.
Anyone able to decipher them?
If you give them a
Yeah, are they in a language we understand?
They're in an alphabet you might know. The same alphabet used by the dwarves. It's known as the Davic script. But the language is probably not something you're aware of. Do you speak Goblinoid?
Yes.
Do you?
I think so.
I speak Common, Giant, Goblin, and now Draconic as well.
Okay. Well, then you'd be able to recognize the language. It says keep out, red caps, territory. That's it.
Oh, so it's a warning.
Or always translates the message and says, yeah, we shouldn't be here.
But you would know that just means goblins. There's goblins in there.
Yeah, they're not difficult. Like,
Yeah, but that, I mean, the other caves aren't occupied. I mean, if we're quiet, we might be able to wait out the weather with no encounters.
You have to get up to the 3. You have to climb up to the 3 at the top. The 2 at the bottom. One of them appears to be like a burrow where some sort of wolf-like creature lives. And then the other one seems to be marked with the goblin markings. They're about 20 feet away from each other.
Okay, then basically, if we can get to one of those, we can, I guess, tie up the horses somewhere safe down here, and then we can get up to one of the caves up top to wait out the weather, and I can basically keep an eye on the horses from up there with my bow.
I don't think this is a good idea. With goblins and a creature of some other capacity, I just don't think it's safe at all.
Okay, then should we head? Should we keep traveling in this weather? Should we head into the woods?
I think we should go to the woods.
Okay, let's head to the woods.
Let's go into the woods.
Okay. If you guys turn away from there and ride back into the woods, You manage to kind of enter into the first portion, and it doesn't seem to offer too much protection. And you realize that you have to kind of engage a bit deeper into the forest to finally get a bit of respite from the hail and the rain. Once you get to a decent position, nominate another member of your group who is not the person who rolled the last one to roll a D100.
Okay, it's your turn.
Okay. Advanced. Sorry. It's an 8.
As you guys are kind of like lingering in the woods and you're breathing and you can see your cold, misty breath kind of popping out in the air in front of you, the stray occasional bolt of hail kind of striking against you or the horse, causing the horse to kind of like, move its muscles and reflex. You guys are just cold and just annoyed and just kind of battered a bit, flustered to be sure. And you start to hear the hail kind of trickle off and kind of stop. But as you do hear that, I need all 4 of you to make a wisdom perception check.
Oh, I got 23.
I also got 23. But Pleasant and I both got nat 20s.
Pleasant and Kelder realize that you're being watched. And when you kind of look to see what's watching you in the dark of the trees behind you, you do see that there are 3 hulking figures, very much lupine in nature. And it seems that they are breathing as well, and their cold breath is what you spotted.
Go
ahead and take 1 action, movement, and bonus action as if you were an initiative, because that's what they'll be doing.
Okay. Kelder draws his bow and shoots it.
Take an attack.
And then, as the bonus action, splits his weapons.
Okay.
So make the attack, and then bonus action, split his weapon.
Okay.
And then I guess as my movement, I'm going to hop off my horse.
Fair enough. Are you hopping off so that the horse is in between you and those, or are you hopping off so that the horse is behind you?
That I'm between the horse and the wolves.
Got it.
Then I guess as a free action, I'm going to yell something to alert everybody else. Crit.
Dear God.
Nice.
So 15 piercing damage.
So there are 3. There's the one that seems to be kind of blowing a lot more mist, and then there are the 2 that are off to the sides that were stalking. Are you targeting the big one, or the center one, or are you targeting the 2 on the outskirts?
Whichever one looks the most dangerous and intimidating.
I mean, they all kind of look like shadows right now. The only difference between them is that one seems to be breathing cold breath.
Yeah, shoot that one.
Okay. All right. And what was the damage total?
15 piercing.
Yeah. That's a lot. You hear a...
That's a lot.
Kind of gets struck in the shoulder close to the neck and kind of like leans...
I'm sorry, you said when we roll crits, we maximize damage?
Maximize the extra damage.
Okay, so that would be 6 plus...
It would be 10. It would be 10 plus 8.
Yeah, so 18 damage.
Okay. So same thing. It kind of yelps and kind of leans out to the side. When it does so, you see that its fur is kind of like dirty white, and you can see that there are soft glints of blue on the tips of the hair that are kind of glistening like ice in sunlight. As it kind of strikes off to the side and kind of looks at you, its eyes kind of flare blue in anger. There was another person on this, so Pleasant. You see the situation unfolding as I've described it to Chad. What would you like to do in response?
I'm going. I have a long range weapon too. I have a bow.
Okay, snatch your bow out, fire it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, on the horse.
Yeah,
Still,
that's fine.
Yes.
You. Oh, sorry.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, Kelder. You fired from horseback, did you not?
No, he got off the horse.
You got off and fired. Chad.
Did
Yeah.
you, Chad?
Okay.
Yeah, he did.
So Pleasant, you firing from horseback is different. You're on Fi's horse, no disadvantage.
That's the disadvantage?
No disadvantage. You're on
Oh, okay.
effectively a war horse.
Okay, yeah, then I want to stay on the horse.
Yep. Take the shot.
What, do I click?
Just your short bow attack in the center there.
I have my crossbow. Would that?
That's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, that hits. And no one's adjacent to it, and it's not surprised, so it'll just do the 9 piercing. So a total of 27 piercing, it seems. Okay. Same target or a different one?
How much did Chad's hit?
18 damage, and it's still alive.
Hit that one.
Okay.
Same one.
27 to that one. Okay. And we'll remember that as the others kind of realize what's happening and to turn their attention to where you're firing at. Out from the tree line comes a about 12 foot at the shoulders tall winter wolf, breathing icy breath from its mouth, its eyes flaring like bluish in color, and the other two shadows.
That's a big wolf.
The other two shadows that pop out are large, like dark, kind of like dark gray colored wolves. All 3 of them are baring their fangs. And since it's 2 o'clock, we'll go ahead and call that there. We'll start the next session with a nice fight. All right.
Nice.
Damn.
Good deal, good deal. All right, thanks for watching, and I'm going to kill the stream.